Welcome back. President Muhammadu Buhari has approved the immediate disbursement of the Cabotage Vessel Financing Fund to qualified Nigerians as part of the federal government's commitment to grow indigenous capacity of Nigerians to own vessels. The Honorable Minister of Transportation, Engineer Muazu Sambo, made the announcement at a press conference recently. He said so far the funds are in two folds made up of Naira and dollar components. According to him, the funds available under the Naira component is around 16 billion Naira, while the contribution in dollars hovers around $350 million mark. For further analysis, we're joined by George Anyegbunem. He's a sustainability expert, and he joins us to look at the opportunities that this may open up in the Nigerian maritime sector. Thank you very much for joining us, George.
Thank you so much for having me around.
Yes.
I'm glad to be here.
Awesome,
Thank you.
Awesome. And now it's no longer news that the President Muhammadu Buhari's administration has approved the disbursement of around 16 billion naira. In terms of for operators in the maritime sector, what does this mean for the sector?
Thank you so much. I think this is a very wonderful achievement, a wonderful milestone. Because number one, for those who operate in the maritime sector, mostly the indigenous operators or indigenous players, is going to increase their capacity, mostly for inland waterways, for maritime activities within Nigeria, within the Nigerian border. It's also going to give them opportunity to compete effectively with those, foreign investors who are investing in the maritime sector in Nigeria. We are also going to see enhanced capacity in terms of which we are going to see employment, because I don't know if you're taking time to look at that, the guideline. You will see that for you to be able to access this fund, you should all your vessels should be fully crewed by Nigerians, and also the ship should be built in Nigeria. So it's going to you have an overarching effect. You are going to see that even ship construction, ship maintenance, or vessel construction and vessel maintenance in Nigeria is going to improve drastically, and expect more even foreign direct investment in the maritime sector, because it's going to open up a whole lot within that sector. So there are so many gains, and I think this achievement or this milestone is timely. And I believe that it has a lot of significant positive impact in the Nigerian maritime space and the economy in general.
Okay. Now, we know that Nigeria's case is a peculiar situation, and this is not the first time that we are hearing that the government has approved the disbursement. But what do you think will be different? What do you suppose will be different this time with this news?
So, yes, we know the Nigerian factor, which we know is corruption, and it has a gangrene each time beautiful ideas like this are released. But if you look at the way this fund or CVFF, Cabotage Vessel Finance Fund, is structured, you see that it's a bit unique. So you have major players like the PLIs. When I mean the PLIs, I mean the primary lending institutions like the banks. They have a role to play. Then looking at the PL, then you see NIMASA has a role to play, and you also see that the Minister for Transportation has a role to play.
Okay.
So by the time you put all these three structures together, you see that we should be able to beat that corruption side of it if we are really sincere.
Yeah, if I may come in here now, it's interesting that you've mentioned the primary lending institutions. We have Union Bank, we have Zenith Bank, we have Polaris Bank, we have UBA and Jay's Bank. How do you suppose that these players will help in terms of this? Okay,
so I think they bring some levels of monitoring, some levels of evaluation and assessment mechanism to the entire process. Also, there's what we call RAC, risk assessment criteria. So they're going to be there to reinforce this risk assessment criteria in terms of credit appraisal, credit approval, and credit for
Hello? I think we've lost him. So he was explaining to us that this is a very effective move by the federal government, and that it will help the Nigerians make revenue, and is explaining in terms of what we can get with primary lending institutions. So I don't know if George is still with us. George, are you still with us?
Yes, I can hear you very well.
I'll let you land on that. We lost you for a second there, so I'll let you land on the point you were making.
So I was saying that when it comes to risk management, the PLIs or the primary lending institutions have a major role to play because they have to do the credit assessment, they have to do the credit analysis, they also have to bring a layer of risk. The entire structure has what I call risk acceptance criteria. Yeah. So they are just there to enforce it and make sure that the right things are done. So if all things being equal, certain variables, they're allowed to do their job, because one thing is for you to bring them in, one thing is for them to do the right job, or being allowed to do the right thing. I think we should have a transparent and a very efficient disbursement mechanism.
All right. And yes. So now, one thing that I could get from the statement was that the approval is with immediate effect. But we know that the bureaucratic bottlenecks in the Nigerian environment are there. It's there. So how optimistic are you seeing these funds out there?
Okay, fine. So you see, in the process of trying to remove corruption and enhance or entrench transparency, you're also going to have some levels of bottlenecks, like we are seeing in this situation. Hello, can you hear me?
I'm with you. We're with you.
Hello.
Hello, we're with you.
It's freezing.
Yes, we can hear you.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes. Hello, George.
Hello.
We'll go on a short break, and when we come back, we'll try and link up with George again. All right, welcome back. We're still with George Anyegbunem, the sustainability expert. So, George, I'll let you land on that point before we had a glitch there.
Okay, so what I was trying to explain, actually, I was trying to say that in the process of trying to entrench transparency, in the process of trying to entrench accountability, we are bringing in some layers of checks and balances, and that automatically will also bring in bottlenecks. So before you move from the PLIs, that's the banks, you move to the MASA, then you move to the Minister for Transportation. Although in the Act, they're saying that the Minister of Transportation can actually delegate final approval to the permanent secretary. So if this process is fully automated, in a sense, I think it will be very, very, they can bring in a layer of technology to it. I believe that the process will be very fast, because once the banks have done the necessary things they need to do regarding credit analysis and credit approval, the MASA will have to do the normal thing in terms of they know the technicalities, the things they check, if the ship is the flag has a registered flag and the rest of it. Then getting the approval of the permanent secretary or the Minister for Transportation shouldn't be an issue. So if they are able to clean up the fine lines or have clear direction on how these things are going to go, I believe that bottleneck shouldn't be an issue, unless situations where corruption creeps in and somebody begins to have a special interest and tries to frustrate the entire process. That's exactly where you will have such challenge. But let me believe that the people, the parties involved, the stakeholders involved, would like to do the right thing so that Nigerians can benefit from the maritime sector in Nigeria, mostly in terms of local content, will be fully improved. Nigerians will be employed in it, and it will add tremendous impact, or make tremendous impact as regards the economy or the GDP.
Yeah,
so let's see.
It's good that you've broached the topic. Now, we've mentioned that the benefits are copious. And let's talk about the business and opportunities and the market potential that this has. This forum qualifies Nigerians to grow capacity to own vessels, which is now indigenous. So what are the opportunities that in terms of market and investment attractions relating to this now?
So you see, when we talk about the CVFF, a lot of people think it's just acquisition. It's beyond acquisition. It's beyond owning a vessel. So the way it's been structured, I think the guys who did that job, who structured it, did a very competent, a very wonderful job. You see that the fund supports those who want to build shipyards, those who want to repair. It's not just acquisition. If you want to repair your ship or your vessel, if you want to build shipyards, if you want to acquire vessel, so it goes beyond acquisition to construction to repair to even acquisition and construction of shipyards. So what does that mean? It means that most of these abandoned vessels that Nigerians have forgotten over time because they don't have access to capital to repair them or reconstruct them. You see them coming into life if people are given opportunity to access this fund. You also see employment. A lot of people will now begin to open shipyards where they can repair ships, where they can build, where they can repair vessels, where they can repair ships, where they can repair vessels and construct new vessels. You also begin to see that it gives people, the operators, the opportunity to access this fund for operations. For example, vessel chartering. So for those who their business is just there for vessel chartering, they can actually, mostly those in the oil who play big in the oil and gas space, they have opportunity to access this fund to expand their business, employ more people, deepen maritime activities within the Nigerian borders, and most significantly, we are going to see, all things being equal, we are going to see that transportation, marine transportation, we now have we now have a robust coverage, because if you look at a place like Lagos, for instance,
yes,
why can't Lagos have proper maritime transportation system? Since Lagos is almost like an island, why can't we have maritime transportation or vessel transportation, bringing people, or can I say vessels bringing people from Warri to Lagos, from Port Harcourt to Lagos, from Bayelsa to Lagos, from Bayelsa to Warri, from Bayelsa to Orong.
That's a good one.
So it will engender, or it will entrench what we call national integration. You know, you see people from Lokoja, instead of going by the road, they can use vessels from Lokoja to Onitsha, from Onitsha to Warri to Lagos, or Warri to Calabar to Akwa Ibom. So it's a beautiful idea, but I just pray that people take away their selfish interest and the political willpower to execute and do the right thing. I believe at the end of the day is a win-win for Nigeria, for Nigerians, and for everyone.
Okay.
So I think the significance, the impact is quite enormous. It's huge.
That's a very good one. Now let's have your parting shot to just put everything you said into summary. Let's just have your final salvo.
So before I leave, I would like to say, I think I've said a lot, but I would just want to make a passionate appeal to the stakeholders, from the PLIs to the Minister of Transportation to NIMASA. Just a passionate appeal. I think I've read the entire guideline, and I've seen that the people who structured this thing, they came up with, they have good intentions. I just pray that the people who execute, the bankers, the people in the MASA, the people in the Ministry of Transportation, and even the stakeholders, and mostly the obligors, those who will be coming to borrow this money, that they come with good intention and implement seamlessly. Imagine that this fund gives you, the maximum obligor is $24 million. That is huge. Wow. So anybody that has access to $24 million in his country right now in Nigeria will do so much in the maritime sector. Yes. I just pray that they are able to put in their very best, bring in good intentions, take this money, return it as of when due, let it be transparent. Let them not bring in any level of Nigerianness to it. If that is done, believe me, in the next few years, Nigeria will be a case study, for the maritime sector.
Well,
thank you.
That's a very good one. We thank you, George, for sharing your insights into this discussion with us.